Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk Gardening. I'm Norma with the University of Florida's Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, UF-IFAS Extension in Sumter County. Today, I've decided to take a different approach to the different episodes that we've done. And we have a guest speaker today, and his name is Alpha Sennon, and he's from the country of Trinidad and Tobago. And Alpha is very passionate about engaging youth in agriculture. And I am passionate about youth in agriculture also. And for those of you who know me will have heard me tell the story of being able to get involved in agriculture at an early age. So as soon as I was able to hold a hoe, I had my own little gardening plot, and I haven't looked back since then. I've always had a passion for ag, and I believe that it's very important for us to engage youth in agriculture. And I found this young man, Alpha Sennon, as someone who has a similar drive like I do when it comes to ag. And so I'm gonna turn things over to Alpha so that he could share some of his passion with us.
Yes. All right. Hey, hi all fans and followers of Let's Talk Gardening. I'm happy to be on this episode with you guys to share. And, you know, I'm all the way in Trinidad and Tobago, and I know there might be some global viewers and listeners. So I'm really excited to share today. And thank you, Dr. Norma, for having me. So we want to dive right into it, right? So, I mean, for me, I created an organization called WHYFARM, and I'll start there and sort of go backwards. And the WHYFARM, WHYFARM, it stands for We Help Youth Farm. But before helping youth farm, we must ensure that young people understand why farm. So I'm now going to rewind a few years earlier, right? I grew up on a crop and livestock farm. I thought I didn't like it at that point in time because I was not connected to a why. So for us, agriculture in the backyard, at the farm in the back of the house, it was literally a chore, right? It was chores, and which 7-year-old, 8-year-old like chores, right? You know, see about the ducks, see about the chickens, you know, water the crops, etc., harvest the crops, etc. And for me, as I look back, I really didn't understand a why, right? So it was almost like, okay, let's go and do what we have to do and get back in the house, right? Or let's go and do something else. Let's play. And at that point in time, for me, it wasn't connected to, this is a business, we are feeding ourselves, we are saving money in the market. So what I realized upon growing up then is that I missed a very integral part of getting young people to be involved. And this was lacking of the why. So what I did, we created a movement called WHYFARM. And on my t-shirts, or even in my screen's background, you will see some characters. And our very famous character is called Agriman, who is an engaging, entertaining, fun tool as a superhero character to involve and encourage young people in agriculture and to understand their role in food and nutrition security. One of my biggest things, I say that we cannot wait until university to teach children about food security, to teach the young people about food security, right? And nor can we wait till we get a PhD to understand climate change adaptability. We must be able to engage young people with all of this. So my entire mission then was to make sure that young people do not wait until they got my age. Because I really, when I went into university, maybe 20-something years old, that is when I really understood the why. And I said to myself, I don't want any children to grow up and miss on that why in agriculture. So hence we created the movement of WHYFARM.
Now, Alpha, what would you recommend to parents who, you know, do not have any background in ag, but they think that it's necessary to grow their own food? How would you recommend they get started and get their kids interested in agriculture?
Yeah, great. I would definitely say I mean, start with the simpler things, you know, the simple container gardening, the grow boxes, etc. Of course, look at all the previous episodes of Let's Talk Gardening and find all those information out. But sit with your children and do that. And upon doing that now, make it fun, make it activity oriented. Don't just do a plain grow box or a plain container. Make them decorate the container. Make them paint it. Put something really awesome in it that they could feel a pride, you know, and wanting to go outside and water their crops, right? Put a schedule on the fridge, an agenda on the days in the weeks that, okay, your child A is going to water today, child B is going to water tomorrow, child C is going to, you know, different activities, and do like a schedule, and maybe put a point system to it as well. That could really help in kids being able to take up the activities. But and not only that as well, have a conversation with them. Find out, of course, what do they like to eat, and see how much of that they could grow at home. See how much of that sweet potato, the sweet peppers, for example, that they like on the pizza. See if you could grow some sweet peppers at home, right? And then find a way. I mean, I like to do this activity most of the times when we do like our camps. Make them get like a plate, you know, a plastic plate or styrofoam plate, or biodegradable plate, hopefully, and draw out what they would want their plate to look like, and find a way for children then to grow as much food at home in the backyard that is on that plate. Of course, if they don't have a lot of knowledge and training in agriculture, you know, look at the simpler things, those things that are easier to grow, and you know, and it's going to be a lot of fun growing. And of course, it's trial and error. You know, you might plant 5 trees of tomatoes, maybe 3 of those trees might bear. That's fine, you know, you're trying, right? But find a way to get these activities involved, make it fun, make it cool. Do not make it a chore, because I think that was my problem. It was just like this chore that I mean, of course it helps with responsibility, but make it in a fun way that you do together as a family activity. A family that eat together stays together, yes, but a family that plants together really stays together.
All right. The other thing too is that they can also use that to incorporate some of the lessons that they're teaching them, like mathematics and English, and
Yes.
you know, they can use all that into their gardening.
Yes.
Another thing I would like to ask you, Alpha, and I know you always talk about sustainable development goals and where we are in terms of, you know, age of farmers and being able to meet that need of growing enough food to attain that goal of food and nutrition security. So what would you tell people about, or young people about, you know, farming? It's not just people in coveralls, but give us some ideas of other careers that they can engage in.
Sure, great question. I mean, to give you guys who's listening and who's watching out there a broader context, we are in the year 2020, right? And the average age of a farmer right now is 60 years and aging. And this is like a global consensus, right? And by the year 2050, of course, there's the average population by that time would be 7.3, 7.4 billion, right? I'm sorry, in the year 2020, right now it's 7.3 billion. By the year 2050, there will be 9 billion. That's a drastic increase in the population, right? Those 60-year-old farmers today, by that year, which is 30 years from now, you don't expect a 90-year-old to really be producing our food anymore, right? So the challenge is then who will feed the world by the year 2050, right? So we see a drastic increase in population, and then we are looking at young folks today, you know, they are really shying away from agriculture. So, but of course, the 20-year-old, for example, the 15-year-old, for example, today, they would be 25, they would be 30, they would be 40 by the year 2050, and that is our working class then, right? So of course, young people who's listening to this, you all are the ones to feed us by that time, definitely, right? Now, I often talk about understanding the process involved in getting a pack of chips, a pack of, I don't know, a pack of a snack on the shelf, right? So I often talk about how do you take the seed to the snack, right? That tiny seed and into the snack, the plant to the pack. How do you get the crop to the shop, right? There's an entire process that is involved there, right? So along what we call the agricultural value chain, there's many opportunities, right? And if I'm to talk about the seed to the snack, right? Let's say we're talking about maybe a plantain chips, right? So a plantain chips would usually start with a plantain sucker, right? You would plant that plantain sucker. It would obviously start to grow. You have to clean it. It will get the necessary fertilizers, watering, and it grows, and you have to harvest it. Upon harvesting it now, you obviously have to get it to the factory because you want to create a product out of this, right? But let's think for a moment all the different careers or skill sets involved in getting this to the supermarket, to the grocery shop, right? In a pack, right? Obviously, you would obviously start by doing the necessary cleaning, washing, peeling, cutting up, dehydrating, you baking, you seasoning. But then comes the step now of course, besides the health aspect, of course, quality control is important and understanding the nutrition that is involved. So there must be someone there who is good at nutrition to be able to test this snack before it goes on the shelf. Then that a very important part is that you're not going to take the plantain chips and just put it in a Ziploc bag and write plantain chips on it and put it in the grocery store. No, you obviously have to design a package, labeling, branding, marketing. That comes in there very important, right? And then you have to be able to make sure the package is appealing, that someone, a child could go and say, mommy, I don't want to buy that. I want that because it looks appealing, right? So there's an entire skill set of different persons involved there. Someone who's a graphic artist, who does good labeling, drawing, concept design, product development, you name it. And of course, then you have to obviously take this now to either a distributor, a retailer, a wholesaler, and get it on the shelves in the grocery shop. And that is just a simple example of how many folks that are involved from that plantain sucker to the entire supermarket, right? So as I said, the seed to the snack, the plant to the pack, and the crop to the shop, a lot of opportunities involved there. So I always say agriculture is more than just a farmer. It starts with the farmer, but it ends along the chain with many different other opportunities that young people could get involved in.
Fantastic. Now, Alpha, you engage with a lot of young people in your activities with WHYFARM. What's some of the feedback you've gotten from them after they've, gone back home and planted things that you've encouraged them to grow?
Yeah, one of the immediate ones that jumps to my mind, and I sort of always share this one, and then we have many children and young people who would eventually go home and set their seeds, and then they would most of the times exchange to other family members or even sell, right? And a big part for young people, of course, is money. Money motivates, money motivates, right? So they would then be like, wow, I didn't know I could make so much money from this one tree, because they would have like a little, house sale where their family would buy and, their close relatives and whatnot upon growing like a pimento tree, for example. So and that money factor, and it really motivates many of them. And I got a lot of responses based on that before.
And maybe, Alpha, that's why I liked farming, because as a kid growing up, the money that we were able to raise from selling from our little plot, we got to keep that money. So yes, money is always an incentive. So being able to look at farming as a business from early would be a good motivation for youth to get engaged in agriculture.
Exactly.
So Alpha, if you could tell our audience, where some of the places around the world that your vision of promoting youth in agriculture has taken you?
All right. Okay, let me see. Let me start from one side of the globe to the other side. India, Thailand, South Korea, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, right? Well, many places in Europe, you know, France, Germany, Italy, Switzerland, Sweden, yeah, Portugal, right? Many places throughout the Caribbean, in the United States, many states throughout the United States. And then, you know, I haven't yet been to Africa, at least not me personally, but members of my organization did travel to Africa, Zambia, South Africa, and I think Cameroon as well, even Nigeria. Then I went to Australia. I went to, yeah, I think that covers the majority of places. Yeah.
And so this is all for spreading the word of
Yeah.
engaging youth in agriculture. So that's wonderful. So Alpha, I know you're very busy, and I just want to thank you so much for participating in the very first interview episode of Let's Talk Gardening. And good luck with your endeavors. I'm Norma Samuel with the University of Florida's Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, UF-IFAS in Sumter County. Please do not hesitate to contact us to learn more about how you can engage youth in agriculture. Our extension offices do have a 4-H program, and I know that, you know, Trinidad, where Alpha is from, they do also have a 4-H program. And many other countries across the world do. So certainly you can use the 4-H curriculum as an avenue to get engaged in agriculture. Thank you so much, Alpha, and have a great day.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.